Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a fabulous holiday weekend, and mine was kind of extended. My birthday was yesterday, so thank you for everyone who wished me a happy birthday. I got a ton of wishes across Facebook and LinkedIn and text and phone and all that good stuff. So I appreciate that very much. But yesterday I actually took the day off, and I don't know when and if I've done this before, because typically I will work through, sometimes my birthday falls on a weekend, so it doesn't really matter because I'm already off technically. But yesterday I made an intentional decision to take the day off. We went to Miami area, actual Coral Gables, went to Fairchild Gardens. We went to a Cuban restaurant down there. So I did work a little bit in the morning, like literally check a couple emails, respond to a couple things I needed to respond to. And the rest of the day I had an autoresponder on my email and basically didn't look at it again. So I want to talk about learning to let go, because I find this is one of the things that entrepreneurs, especially new entrepreneurs, have the hardest time with. And I can speak from my own experience, and I can speak from the experience of my clients, is it's not only delegating. So some of it's delegating and making sure that you're able to give stuff to someone else, but it's also how do you make it so you don't have to do something right then. You know, if you're like that type A personality like I am, hey, I want everything done and I want it like the I's dotted, the T's crossed, all that kind of stuff. And then it starts hurting other things in my life. So the big key is to, and my dog's decided he wants to come up and say hello, this is Bravo. The big key is how do you delegate and how do you say no and let go? And you're okay with that, because sometimes things don't have to happen that second, right? You know, it's good to have them happening, you know, like, for example, say I need to get something done on my own my company website. Do I need to do it today? The question is it urgent? Is it needed? Or is it something I need to get done, but it doesn't have to happen today? And that's maybe not be the best example, but even with clients, how do you set expectations with your clients? So sometimes things aren't going to get done. Like if a client calls you up and says, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z. So in my case, because we do some marketing, we need to update this on the website. So a lot of times I'll get an email. So we always say, okay, you know, we'll get this done within typically 1 to 2 business days. Sometimes it's that day. Sometimes it's the next day, and sometimes it might be the next day. But that's my typical response. And then if we get it done the same day, awesome. That's great. But it always depends on what we have going on and everything else that needs to get done. It's not that we're going to stop everything unless it's an emergency. If the website's down, I had a client that had their website down this morning. So I took that on and dealt with that, needed to call the hosting company, figure out what was going on, and get the site back up. So in that case, that's a little bit different, right? But letting go is essential, and learning how to delegate. So when you first start, a lot of times you're doing everything. So you're doing the books, the bookkeeping, the website, the marketing, the sales, you know, working with the clients, all those things you're doing and no one else is doing, right? Payroll. So when do you start delegating? When do you start letting go? And some of it's you need to build that trustworthy team to start with. So it could be, and these could be completely and these could be contractors. They don't have to be people that you're employing as far as employees. You know, say you want to do payroll. Like I stopped doing my own payroll when I got ADP to start doing it. So ADP does it now for me because I have multiple contractors. I have multiple employees. And once I stopped being the sole employee, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, I don't want to be responsible for the quarterly taxes that need to go in and then be filed. I don't want to be responsible for the end of the year reporting, all that stuff. I don't want to be responsible for anymore because it's gotten too much for me. So if you're the only person, maybe that's okay. But once you start bringing on the other contractors, other employees, that's when maybe that's the time to subcontract that out to somebody else. And ADP is a reputable company, right? Could be ADP. There's a couple others out there I would recommend as well. But regardless, it's really about when do you let go of that control? with clients, when do you let go of you doing all the work on your clients and maybe spending more time on marketing or more time on sales? That's when you have that trustworthy team in place. And it could be one person. It doesn't have to be a team. It could be one person, but how do you then focus on hiring the quality person or people in order to be able to do that? And some of it's defining clear roles and responsibilities. So if I know I want to hire X person, how do I define those roles and responsibilities so he or she knows exactly what the expectations are? They understand the objectives, they understand the duties, and they can take it on. Because one of the biggest things I like, and it's been hard for me to do, but I have that perfect person in place now in my assistant, who's kind of my director of operations, is I'm able to let go of control. So a lot of times I don't even know what she's actually doing on the other side with my clients. I hear about it and I can go look at it, but I don't need to be involved in the minute by minute, play by play action on it. But it's taken me time to get there and not know that. Knowing your delegation ability and then developing those skills. You can learn how to delegate by starting with smaller things first. How do you start with smaller items first? Maybe that's delegating something like payroll to a company like ADP. Because payroll, most people, unless you're an accounting person, most people aren't going to want to do payroll. At least the people I talk to, the business owners I talk to. Once you have to do W-2s, you have to file quarterly reports, you have to file all that crap. Most people aren't going to want to do that. So filing to sending it to a company like ADP, and I'm just using the company I use, but there's other companies out there as well, that alleviates. And they're I don't know, bonded and insured is the right word, but they have that protection in place that if they mess up, hey, Ken, thanks for jumping on. So if they mess up, they're covering what's going on. So they can't come back and bite me if they mess up. So start there and then bring on that team member. Start letting go control of that control and then giving other things, but empower your team. So if you're going to micromanage your team, probably not very empowering. And that's the thing. I hate being micromanaged, and I'm not going to micromanage. I may watch things from afar and just kind of see what's going on. But unless I see something going wrong, because you have to let them be able to make the mistake. Maybe, not a big mistake, but like minor mistakes. And then they learn and they improve and they grow with that position. And then you don't have to worry about it any longer. If you get that person that's empowered to do it, you don't have to worry about it any longer. And you can go about getting more business, building more clients, closing those sales, and onboarding the next round of clientele. And then finally, practice letting go. So I've talked about, delegate the small tasks first, figure what those are, but then take a day off if you need to take a day off. Like I was taking the day off yesterday for my birthday. Take a day off. If you have a special day, an anniversary, a birthday, whatever, just taking the day off. So they knew that in advance. Now my assistant was working, so anything that they needed, they still had it. Looks like my internet's going in and out a little bit, but that's the deal, is how do you get to that point? So really build the trustworthy team, define those clear roles, develop your delegation skills, empower that team, and then really practice letting go. You have to start. You have to start somewhere. So whether it's, hey, I'm delegating my payroll to ADP, whether it's, hey, I don't want to manage this website anymore, I'm delegating it to a marketing company that can deal with it. Hey, let me bring an assistant on part-time and I'm going to start delegating little things to him or her to take over from me. That's how you start. And then as you grow and as you get better and more confident, you can let go more and more and empower yourself to really run the company instead of having to work in the company day in and day out. So I hope you found that helpful. And this was really prompted because I took the day off yesterday. And as I said, I will rarely do that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm the owner of the company. I have the team in place. It's my birthday. I'm going to go celebrate. And I did. Had a great time. So I hope you all have a great evening. And I will see you again later this week. Bye for now.